Debadging. It's one of the cheapest, simplest things you can do to your truck if you're trying to customize your truck and you're kind of working with the budget. I would highly recommend debadging your truck. It makes it look so much cleaner and so much better without all the badges on it and stuff like that. So we're going to go over that today. But first, since the only reason that anyone watches my channel at all is to see the cat eye, we're going to go ahead and give this little baby a cold start. While she's warming up, we're gonna go ahead and start, I don't even know, what should I name my red truck? Don't mind the old abandoned house here across from my house. But what we're gonna be doing today is debadging. I'm not gonna debadge everything, but as you guys can see, there used to be, I don't even know what you'd call that, some kind of plastic panel thing that went right there to keep people from door dinging the truck. You can see one of them is still on here. So we'll be taking that one off and then stripping all this old adhesive off here. It's kind of like a foam stuff, and it's also what holds these on. It'll have foam behind it. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna leave the Silverado badges on, and I'm gonna leave the Z71 badges. I took all that stuff off on my gray truck. Everything came off. But I'm gonna leave those on. I'm gonna leave the LT, and I'll leave the Silverado here as long as it's the flex fuel. But we're going to take this old dealer badge here off. So that'll give you kind of an idea on how to do the decal stuff, which is easier, honestly, than taking those plastic ones off. First step is to get this thing washed up, because I'm not going to go and grind that dirt into my paint with an eraser wheel. Made it back to Ponderosa. I guess we'll go ahead and shut this big old boy off. Just gotta let her warm up every once in a while, especially in the winter. I'm gonna have to go get some of that heat diesel treatment for this weekend. It's gonna be in the negatives here, so if I want to get any kind of snow content at all, I'm gonna have to get me some diesel treat to keep my fuel from gelling up. But for right now, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get all our tools together. We're gonna start debadging this girl. First thing you're gonna need is some good thick fishing string or thread or something of that type that's really small. This is what we're gonna use to cut through the back side of that foam that's on the back side of the emblems that we're cutting off. Be prepared for that to break on you, because it will happen. Second thing you're gonna need is a 3M eraser wheel for a drill. Third thing we're gonna need, obviously, a good drill. And the fourth thing you're gonna need, everything works better with heat. I don't have a heat gun, so I'm using my wife's hair dryer. It'll work okay. I mean, I'm sure a heat gun would probably get hotter, but this will still work. In the summertime, the panels of your truck are going to be hot enough, especially if you let this panel face the sun for a little bit, let it heat up. You can literally just take your fingernail and peel this thing off. It's a little bit colder, so it might be a little bit harder. I'm not sure. I've never tried it in the cold. You may still be able to just peel it off, but obviously it would work better with some heat. This right here, I'm not worried about savings, and it's already kind of peeled up right here. I'm probably just gonna grab it and rip it off. But if you couldn't do that, or like say you were trying to take these off, you would use that fishing line that I was telling you about, put it behind the badge and just run it back and forth until you cut through that foam that's behind it, which this right here is what you're gonna see once you cut it. You're gonna leave some of that on there, and that's what you're gonna use your eraser wheel to take off. But this is easy enough today. I think it'll just come right off like that. Now you see, right here, I tried to clean behind this when we were at the car wash. It's a little dirty. I don't really care about my paint, so I'm just going to take a rag and just wipe that off real quick so that there's no dirt there. If you have a nicer truck, I would suggest cleaning that the right way. That way you're not grinding that dirt into the paint with your eraser wheel, because that will happen if it's not perfectly clean. This is literally the only residue that leaves behind. Your foam comes off in little squiggly parts like that. I've actually found, and I just now remembered this, that this works better the slower your drill is spinning, because if it spins too fast, it heats this stuff up and it starts to get sticky. It doesn't really melt it, but it makes it sticky and leaves this stuff on there. So what I've got here is 3M general purpose adhesive cleaner. This is adhesive, so I'm hoping that it works. It should. First of all, we're going to spray this onto the affected areas, and we're going to let it soak for a few minutes. If it starts to dry off a little bit, I'm just going to reapply. Once it's set for a few minutes, you take your clean dry rag, and it should just wipe right off. Oh yeah, that just wiped it right off. So there's the secret, guys. When you're doing this, don't worry about those little the residue that it leaves behind on the truck. That stuff took it right off. I mean, you can see there isn't a spot on that truck anymore. I mean, that worked perfect. Like I said, this little dealer badge that we got here, it's just a decal. It's a sticker that was put on there. I've dealt with ones that were like painted on, and those come off really easy. I could sit there and try to pick off each little individual letter, but it would take a while, so we're just going to do it the fast way and use the eraser wheel. I'm not going to heat this up. I don't really think it needs to be heated to take it off. We're just going to go ahead and use the eraser wheel and buff this off real quick, and then we'll use the adhesive cleaner to clean it up, and we'll be done with this here. Get our adhesive cleaner, clean up the rest of it, and we'll be done. Let it set for a couple seconds. On the stuff that really is going to take a lot to get off, you're going to want to let it set for a few minutes and let it soak and soak and soak. Stuff like this, or if you peel a decal off your window, it's a couple seconds, and that stuff should just wipe right off. That's basically it for decal removal. We're going to see about pushing that dent out, and see what else we got for the video, but that'll be about it for today. Thanks you guys for tuning in. Got the door panel off. Had to strip this back. It's glued on right here, but I had to strip it back some so I could reach back in there to push that out. And like I thought, I didn't quite get everything out of it, but you really can't tell by looking at it right now that there's even any dents. There's a little bit of one right here, and you can just barely see something right here when you're in just the right kind of light. But looks way better now. You can see those swirl marks everywhere on this. If I really gave a crap about this, I mean, see all the scratches here? If I really gave a crap about this truck, I would go get it paint corrected. But I don't care. This is my work truck. I drive it to work. Most that's ever going to happen to it is a leveling kit, some tint. That's really about it. Toolbox maybe, I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to slap this door panel back in, and she's done for the day. And hopefully here tomorrow we'll be shooting a YouTube video as well, and you guys will just have to wait and see what it is.